You know, if we were going to film the unboxing of this one, we should have filmed the unboxing of all the other parts I got yesterday. So, here's the heavy thing. These are going to be the rotors. And then right here, we have the Z23 Evolution brake pads. And we have the red steel braided brake lines.
I thought blue was your accent color.
I didn't get a color choice. It was red or nothing. So, if we open this up right here, like that, we get the break-in sheet right here. And then inside of here is going to be your hardware, all of your caliper clips and whatnot. And then you have the boots for the thing. And some brake lube. It comes with, I believe, 2 packets of brake lube. And since we ordered from RockAuto, we get the...
Oh, they're drilled and slotted.
Oh yeah. So we have the rotor, nicely packaged and wrapped up, drilled, slotted, and vented.
Alright, so today we're going to be putting new brakes on this Honda Civic, 1993 Honda Civic DX. So we've got shoes for the rear, we've got rotors for the front, we've got pads for the front. The pads come with the clips, and there's like some rubber gaskets, and sorry, those are for that. The pads come with some clips and the lube for the sliders. We have a new brake master cylinder because the pedal just kind of drops in this car for whatever reason, even after bleeding the brakes. So we're assuming there's a problem with one of the gaskets. And then we're also going to replace the lines with stainless steel lines. That's probably overkill, but why not? We're already bleeding the brakes. We're already buying a lot of other consumable stuff, so might as well just do it. So first thing you want to do is you want to get the car up on a lift or jack stands or whatever you have. We're using our quick jacks. You don't need it this high. You could just have the corners elevated enough that you can get the tires off. Reasonably, you could do one corner at a time, but it makes it a lot easier to bleed it if you do all 4. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the wheels and tires off.
Jiggity check.
All right, so the first thing you want to do after removing the wheel is you want to unbolt the caliper. The caliper on this car has 1 bolt. It's a 12 millimeter, and it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be loose like his was.
I loosened it beforehand.
Oh, okay. And you flip up the bottom of the caliper.
You get a jack to flip up the caliper.
Well, you have to pull the pin back.
Oh.
So there's the bolt sits in a pin, and this pin has a slot. So you just do that, and it lifts up like that. Then you can slide the caliper backwards toward. There you go, just like that. Now, you generally don't want to hang a caliper off the line because it can ruin the end of the line, but in this case we're replacing the lines anyway, so we don't necessarily care about that. So next thing you do is you pop out the pads, which he's doing right now. They should just slide forward and backwards. Notice that the rear pad has this...
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Notice that the rear pad has this clip on it. When you reassemble it, it's going to be that way too, and the clip is on the top side. Yep, so take that 10 out.
Oh, I need to take
Well, actually, you don't need to take it out. I did on the other side because it was loose. Okay, so there's 2 17s on the back that you're going to remove. Okay, once the 2 17s are out, that retainer can come down. And then we can take off the rotor.
Well, we can get loosen that screw first. I also loosened this beforehand. This was like hand tight, by the way.
Because they probably didn't have the right tool. So you remove that. There should be 2 bolts on the rotor. Ours only had 1. So now we're going to remove the lines from the caliper and then the car. So the line has a 12 mil right here. Yeah, it's 14 maybe. I think it's 14.
Wow.
There's, yeah, 2 12s there. If you see where the brake line attaches right here, there's a 10 mil right there, and you want to use a flare nut wrench, which is one of these, to take that off. So you just kind of put this on here, crack it loose like that, and then you just need to use the wrench to loosen it. Brake fluid is going to leak out during this process.
I'll go. Hey, I'm supposed to be doing this.
So now we're going to install the line. This is what it looks like. So this is going to go up through that same hole. It's going to end up with a new retainer clip on it, which looks like this. It goes the same direction with the little tab up. And then you'll notice that on the line that you took off originally, there were 2 of these. On the new line, there's only 1. So the routing actually looks like this. It's going to go around the back. It's going to go under this one. And then it's going to kind of loop back, grab this, and then this banjo fitting goes on the caliper. So he'll install that now. So now the retainer's been installed. He's tightening up the 10 millimeter from the hard line to the new stainless steel line. Note that these stainless steel lines don't have that square on the end of them that keeps them from spinning. So you're going to have to hold the nut at the end with... There you go. So got that nice and tight. And then your 2 10s. And this is the part that's kind of wonky because you actually have to like bunch up the slack back here like that. And then this sits like that with the 2 10s.
Is the socket still on there? Oh, I'm trying to put a bolt in the socket where there is no socket. See, that's why I don't tighten it all the way.
It's not tight.
Tight enough where I can't move it. I can't move it. Down. There we go.
All right. So now we can replace the rubber seals on the caliper, which is probably easier to do. There's no fluid dripping out of that line. So let's just pull the bucket out here and we can do it out here.
Oh, there's fluid kind of dripping. Let me
Show it here.
Should I just go ham with this and spray the whole thing? Well, we're almost out. Good.
There's more cans.
They hold it straight upright.
Yeah. So you want to remove these retainers and stuff that we're not going to reuse. All those can go. And then on this guy, we're going to replace these rubber seals. So this one just pulls off like this, and that gets the new one that looks just like that, pushed on, and it just goes over the top like that. This one's a little bit more challenging, so there's a metal shaft in here that you kind of have to push all the way out, like that, and then it pulls out. That shaft doesn't really have a front and a back, it's just one thing. And then this rubber piece comes off, and this rubber piece comes out. Like that. And now, this new one goes all the way through, little lump that you end up with. And then this, you want to put some lube on.
Oh.
This is also a good time to push your single piston in, just so that's in all the way, because your new pads and new rotors are going to be thicker than your old stuff. All right, so now we're going to reattach the brake line.
So notice here that we have two washers. One goes on this side of the bolt and goes into here like that.
But it goes in
other
the other side.
It goes the other way.
It goes the
It goes the other way, but I'm just explaining. So it goes like that, and then you have your other washer right here, and this threads in to your caliper.
14. That tight. Okay, so we have the rotor on. Going to install the screw, the retainer screw.
I didn't strip it.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're gonna do? Alright, now we need this thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to clean it? No, it's not cut anything on it. So.
You're going to clean it on the car anyway. So that goes in like that. No, around the rotor. Yes, around the rotor like that. And then there's bolts that go through the piece of metal into the one that's in it. Alright. So that's all done.
Oh, now I just put it right here.
Okay. Alright, so now we're going to put the pads on.
So we have these clips right here, and you can see there's a high side and a low side, and then there's this little part. This part hooks on like that. It goes on the front side, not underneath. It goes like that. And your high side is going to point towards the rear of the car, right? So like this, the high side goes there.
It kind of matches the lip on here. You can see there's like a shallow lip and a deep lip.
Yeah, and then you just push it back into place and it'll set in place really easy. And then these fancy looking ones with the weird clips and stuff, same deal, high side goes towards the back. Like he said, it'll match the lip on the thing. And these ones go on the engine side, I guess you would call it. The engine side.
Sure. So the front pad goes like this into place. That. And then the rear pad goes in the back side the same way. This tab goes up. So one thing you'll note is the pads, there is a left and a right on the back side of the front. The front side of the front, they're both the same. So now,
Oh, we have to grease that, right?
this shaft, I already did.
Oh.
So you put that on like that. This slides forward. And then this goes down like that.
They made it easy for us this time.
Yeah, this has to go back like that. And then that, because I pushed the thing in all the way when the line was disconnected. I didn't do that on the other side.
Oh, your bolt's over there.
So that goes like that. This goes in the bottom. Install our bottom. And that is it.
Wow. Still got the rear brake lines and the master cylinder.
Yeah. All right. So here we are in the back. First off, to pop these caps off, you have to put a bolt in here that you tighten up. And then, here, just hang on a sec. Here, move a sec. So, just take a soft blow. Really what you're fighting is the rust and corrosion right here.
Now we got it. So you'll see it start to crack and pop out. And that's when you can just start actually tightening it, and then it'll break off like that. I might be in the way here. Maybe I want to remove this spring first. So this one, not too difficult. It just hooks over that and hooks into the shoe down here. And this little spring, they don't really like to pop out. They're not nice, but you can just leave it right there. And then this little thingy, save this, you need. Basically what I'm doing is this adjuster right here holds these out. Leave.
What are you doing? What are you trying to get off? This bottom one?
Yeah. I remembered there was a method to doing it.
Yeah. You don't have new springs either, do you? We have to reuse these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we used these last time, didn't we?
No.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Huh. Yeah, this is a bitch.
Yeah, that's the spring you take out first.
This one? The bottom?
Yeah. You don't get the top. The top's impossible. You don't get it off. You get the top off, you take the retainer off. You take the retainers off on both sides, and then the shoes go like this. They like buckle out like that, and then this spring is loose. You just take it off really easy, but you need to take this spring off first. So I already loosened the adjuster as far as it'll go.
Almost had it.
Alrighty then.
There's the top. Does that make the bottom easier?
Way easier. Here, let me just push this out for you. And then the bottom should be super easy. This spring might actually be loose.
Well, I don't think you need to take it off now. You can just flip them both out, can't you?
Well, you still need to take the spring off.
I guess.
Alright, big spring out. Let's get the spar adjuster out. And then these clips, so I'll show you with this one. You see that it has this tab right here and this spring. So this spring pushes in, and what you want to do is have your pliers like this and push around that clip in the middle. Push the spring in like this, and you grab that clip and you twist it, and the spring needs to be pushed down in order for it to twist. And then once it's free like that, twisted 90 degrees, you let it go and the whole thing comes loose.
I have to switch batteries. Okay.
Alright, so now we have those out. Once you undo both those clips, the shoes will just come out and that little spring will fall out. Right here, this is your thing that activates your handbrake. And in order to change this shoe, you have this horseshoe clip, and you kind of gotta just get a flat's head and bite into it with the flat's head and just cut it. And then this clip is loose, and you can pull it the rest of the way out with some pliers, making very sure not to bump it back in. This comes out. You probably want a new one of those, but if you have to reuse it, you can. And then you have this clip and the little washer, or the pin and the washer. So this pin just comes out along with the washer, and you can see that little horseshoe clip sits in here. in that groove in the pin. So both of your shoes, they're non-directional, which means they basically both go the same way. Like it doesn't matter which shoe you grab, they're all the exact. So you push your new pin in place like that, you get your new washer, put it in, put it on like this, and you make sure you have it oriented correctly. You line up your handbrake actuator with your shoe and then put it in place. And it's a good idea right now, I can let that hang, to take your clip to like a hard flat surface and hit it with a hammer to flatten it out. There we go. So just like that, got it in place. So get them oriented right and get your little spring retainer on both sides, and this will make it easier to just position them. And there's this big hole on the shoe right here. That pin is gonna go in through the big hole like this. Perfect. Make sure your spring is good. There you go. And now to put these back on, you just orient this, push it in, and turn it around. And then boom, you're good and in place. Make sure you line it right. Like that. Beautiful. And then this side is going to be the same way, except maybe slightly a little bit harder, because you're going to have to pull that spring under there, just like that. So that wasn't too difficult, actually. And then we're lined up. This side of the actuator, so there's this little tab right here. This tucks under this adjuster, and your pin goes in right there. And then the arm of it goes right on top of the threaded part of the adjuster, and this is a lot easier to do when your pads are like properly in place, or shoes. There, it's in place-ish. Oh, cool. That's not what I wanted to have happen. Ooh. There. Now it's in.
Well, especially since the smoke came out.
Yeah. That's a telltale sign. Alright. There we go. So, that's the shoes. So just to run you by it again, you take this side spring off of the retainer pops out, you loosen your adjuster all the way, so that means you screw it in all the way so that this gets smaller. You can take this spring out using the straight section right here, and then you take both retainers on the shoes out, they pop out, and then you have to take the horseshoe out on the handbrake, and then you're there. You're done. I am going to have to adjust that being the handbrake thing, and make sure it's not out of adjustment. And this, okay, respin. Okay, that's good.
Okay. So we're going to be replacing the brake master cylinder. We're doing that because the pedal is very squishy from time to time. It builds when you pump it. So the thought is that when we bled the brakes, there was a bunch of the fluid was really dirty. So it's possible that there was some crap that got pushed down here and it's messing up the seals. So we're just going to replace the master cylinder. We're going to bleed the entire system. This comes with a new reservoir and a new lid. So we removed the old lid from this reservoir. This does come off as well. There's like a screw on the side that you can take off, but I don't think we're going to need to. So we've got two 10s, flare nut 10s, right here where my fingers are, coming off the side. Those are just lines. So we're going to disconnect those first. When you're starting off, you want to start off with a flare nut wrench, which is designed for this. Okay, so we've removed both of the lines. Next thing that we need to do is we have to remove these two bolts that hold the reservoir in. They should be 12. All right, I'm done. So there's one. There's not. Okay. So you take out the other 12. The other washer. And this just pulls out like that. While we have this out, it's easier if you remove these plugs. So just pop both of these plugs out. You will notice that there is a plug here. That's only for if you had a car that had a combined clutch and brake master cylinder, some other Hondas do, then that would come out and there'd be a third line that goes in there. This car doesn't. So we're going to put this on like that, slide it into place, put the new gasket in there, that goes in like that. We'll get these bolts started. That's in. Okay. So now that that is done, it's going to be time to bleed the brakes. So I'm going to remove this cup, which is a filter, because the brake fluid is new and clean. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to add fluid. So we're going to fill this up with fluid all the way full to the max line, just like that. And then we're going to take a quart. Hold please. Is I'm going to pump this until fluid gets to the top of the line.
This is where I'm moving out of the way so I don't get doused in fluid. You're about to get a shot.
Okay, and then we're going to take this cap and put it on here. The goal here is that we're going to pressurize the cylinder with this. And I normally pump it up to like 10. So we've got this pressurized to 10. We're going to go to the furthest back corner, which is the rear left, with our 8mm wrench. Let it bleed. Well, until we get through all the air and stuff. So we've got air, 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 air. See all the air?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of air.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of air. Oh, all right, so he's going through and doing the bed-in process. Every manufacturer is going to have their own, so just follow whatever the brake manufacturer, whatever product you chose, whatever they recommend, do that. For his, he has to decelerate from 40 miles an hour 5 times, then decelerate from 30 miles an hour 5 times, and then drive with no brakes for a little while. Like, there's a thing he needs to do. So he's driving around doing that. It's all put back together, fluid's filled up, brakes are bled, everything's good. I'll post the links in the description to the products that we used. I realize this video was all over the place and we covered a lot of stuff, but if you stuck with it, thank you for that. Have a great day.